Okay, hello and welcome back to part 2 of Civ 5 as the Ottomans on the Archipelago map on Deity difficulty. I've been weighing up the pros and cons of going for this kind of warlike approach that I originally intended to go for and going for a more peaceful approach. And what I've come up with are kind of a few pros to each option. So when it comes to being peaceful, the pros are number 1, we're going to get the Hanging Gardens, which is obviously a very good wonder for peaceful play, but also for warlike play, but especially for peaceful play. Number 2, we are sharing our island with just one other faction, which appears to be a very peaceful faction, at least so far. Also kind of related to that, if they do attack us, we have a very easily defendable location, except maybe from the sea, but I'm not too worried about them attacking from the sea. They don't tend to be great at that, the AI at least. And number 3, I feel like there are no current runaway civs on this map. Maybe Poland threatens to become a runaway civ, but they don't currently have triple my score, nearly triple my score, but they don't currently have triple my score. So I don't necessarily think that they're going to be running away when it comes to science. So I don't necessarily have a player on the map where I'm thinking to myself, I'm definitely going to go and need to take out that player. When it comes to a more warlike approach, there are a few advantages. One thing I forgot to mention for peaceful as well is our current neighbor, Constantinople, Byzantium, Theodora, is working very hard to spread a religion to us that we happen to benefit from a lot. 2 different religious buildings, cathedrals and monasteries, Tears of the Gods for extra faith from our pearls, and we've got a lot of pearls. We've got 5 different tiles just containing pearls. And I think that's pretty much it for the peaceful advantages. When it comes to the warlike play, there are 2 main advantages. One is it's probably more fun to watch. That's not really a genuine advantage, because the truth is this civ, which is also the second advantage, which I'm about to mention, this civ is very much suited to warlike play. It's very much intended to be a domination-friendly civ. So in a way, it's more of an achievement if we can progress really well with relatively peaceful play. We've pretty much got 0 advantages when it comes to science, culture, diplomacy, anything except domination, really. So in a way, it's more of a challenge if we go peaceful, but it's too early to decide now anyway. We might end up deciding to go warlike after having played peaceful for a long time. I'm not really sure. I'm just saying that I'm at least weighing up the pros and cons of playing peaceful, because I don't really want to be spending my production on composite bowmen, maybe not even crossbowmen, when there are still so many workboats I can produce. I can still produce 2 more cargo ships, and there are lots of other things too. Also, I'd rather spend my gold on workshops and get that immediate boost to production than focus it on buying military units. So that's where I'm currently thinking. That's where I'm currently up to. I'm not going to say for sure that we're going to end up going to war. I do quite like the setup we've got here already, and I don't want to get rid of this attempt to spread our attempt by Theodora to spread her religion to our towns, because I think it's really benefiting us right now, actually. In Ankara, I'm going to go for the Colosseum, because one problem we do have is we threaten to soon tilt ourselves into unhappiness, and we don't really have any great sources of happiness coming through. We still need to expand into the cocoa, so I might buy a tile for that. Only 60 gold to go for this one, and then this one we should expand into naturally in 3 turns' time. Still tempted to just go for it immediately and start chopping down that jungle, because that's going to take quite a few turns. And honestly, I think I've just talked myself into that. Let's do it. Because Ankara is going to grow next turn, and then we'll be down to 0 happiness, which is not a good place to be. So yeah, I think that makes sense. This guy's just going to keep exploring. Composite bowman. We're going to send to Edirne so it can defend our most threatened town. But I'm probably not going to produce any more anytime soon. At least not until I get machinery. I still have the option of attacking Constantinople if I want to. It's only got 20 defense, so it's actually really quite an easy target if we do decide to go for it, but let's hold off for now. I don't think we need to do it. Okay, so we've established our first city connection between our towns of Ankara and Istanbul. I'm not sure necessarily if paying the upkeep of a massive road going all the way along here is going to be worth it. I'm kind of leaning towards probably not, but we are getting 4 gold per turn from that city connection, which is not a lot and not really outweighed by the road itself, but at least we can transfer units very quickly between the 2 if we want to. and there may be some other advantages later on that I've not really thought of, but for now that's pretty much it. Who's this? This guy is going to go and build a plantation, hopefully get us a bit more happiness, and I might have to consider, before I forget, because both Istanbul and Eden are about to grow, I probably have to tell them to avoid growth for now, because we just cannot take the happiness hit. And I don't want to spend my money on Colosseums. I really want to save that money and go for workshops instead. We can probably only afford the one, as I should really be going for metal casting, shouldn't I? For the guilds. I had decided to go for machinery. That's the other thing, none of the players have made it to the Renaissance era, so none of them are focusing on science that much. We're not really that far behind. We are behind, no doubt, but not as far behind as you might be at this stage of the game. So the situation is kind of playing itself into benefiting a bit of a peaceful approach for now. I'm really tempted actually. So Machu Picchu, we can't build. We're not within 2 tiles of a mountain. East India Company, we're nowhere near that. I do think overall there aren't that many advantages to going for guilds, so I am actually going to go for metal casting first, and we should finish that off just before we get the Hanging Gardens at this rate, which is pretty good timing, I think. And, you are done. I don't know what you're worried about. Route 2 cancelled. That's completely fine. We should definitely build more farms, but we're running out of freshwater access tiles, so I'm not sure. I'm going to go here for now just to put up a farm, and once our borders do expand into that tile, which should be in 2 turns, we can start working on that, get ourselves a bit of extra cocoa, and start trading that. But metal casting is going to be a big boost for us once we can start producing those workshops, or buying them even. We can buy one, just the one, but buying that in Eden, which is otherwise a very low production town, is going to make a big difference for sure. So yeah, they're really working to spread that religion, and it's a good thing. I think Ankara is going to be converted pretty soon. Okay, so cargo ship here, this is I think our first one, yeah. So it's offering to go to the previous route. Paris is now going to give us an extra 1 science per turn compared to going to Byzantium, so we're going to go for that instead. Pretty sure that the barbarians are pretty much all gone now, so I don't think we have to worry about it being pillaged or anything like that. And definitely want to double check at Istanbul. I'm pretty sure I did tick avoid growth, but I want to make absolutely sure because we are really threatening to tip into unhappiness here. Oh my god, what? She didn't... I'm sure she didn't have that. Like, when I checked a minute ago, she didn't have that. She doesn't have... How does that work? She has piety. She doesn't even have tradition. Like, I mean, I know the AI gets lots of advantages, but that's just like, that's straight up cheating. That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. It says right there, requires tradition. She doesn't have tradition. How does that make any sense? Okay, she's gotta die. She really has to die. I can't believe that. But I do still want to work on workboats and things like that for now. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get rid of her at least. I might not go for a full domination victory, but I'm gonna get rid of her because that has left a very bad taste in my mouth. I don't understand how that even happened. Okay, so we haven't got a granary here yet. That's at least some small boost to food. I'm so disappointed about that. That's really bad. Watermill is a bit more food too. That's really a bummer. I am just going to go for workboats. Let's get these pearls in. So maybe in that case I should be rushing for machinery, but no, I do want to get metal casting, I do want to get that workshop, and that's going to help me produce crossbowmen anyway. Okay. So our cities have all turned to Eastern Orthodoxy. As long as the Huns don't try and spread their religion to us again, that's pretty much completely fine. May even be able to destroy Constantinople. We will see. The thing is, the big risk is if I destroy Constantinople, I'm not going to bother wasting my faith on missionaries to try and spread it. So if the religion ends up dying out, I'm pretty much just going to accept that. So I want to make sure that I buy all my cathedrals and all my monasteries before that happens, if that does happen, which I don't know, it might not. I imagine that she's already spread it around enough that it's fairly solid. And isn't going to be easily undermined by rival religions, but you never know. This is kind of the phase of the game where the AI is trying hardest to spread its religion, and I think after a while they do kind of get bored of that, I guess. But yeah, it's going to be quite a while until we actually get our happiness up, so we're not going to be getting much growth, which is a bit of a problem. But I guess it doesn't matter too much if we go to war. I'm gonna do my best to not be salty about that, but I'm feeling very salty about that. Attila's built the Great Wall, that's not surprising. I was surprised it lasted as long as it did. This is pretty unexplored. This seems like an okay place to settle. 6 iron there, which would be good if we went for frigates, but it's just way too far away for us. Kind of surprised the AI hasn't gone for it though. AI will sometimes just go and plant a load of new cities in the really late game for some reason, which causes a lot of annoyance, but in this case I don't think it's going to bother us too much. And we do have Cocoa on the way, so we should have them as a friend pretty soon. Not sure what they do, let's check. So they are cultured, and yeah, definitely happy to have a gift of culture, because we don't have too great culture production right now. Okay, so Istanbul, let's just keep producing the workboats. You are going to go and work on the plantation as we planned. And we'll just keep skipping the turns. Okay, so we do have spare pearls, and she is happy to give us silver for that, so that's great. That immediately solves our happiness problems. I didn't think any of them actually had any spare luxury resources, but that's a big help. And we're nearly done with the plantation too. So we'll go up to 8 happiness pretty soon. And then 10 once we finish the Colosseum. Two turns to go, and then we can build or buy our first workshop in Eden. And I need to untick that avoid growth box. Research agreement. I think we should say yes, but workshop's pretty costly, so got to make sure we can still afford to buy that. Okay, let's go back and let's untick this. And untick it here too. And I think we're good to go after that. I'm actually going to stop working on the gold on the ivory because we don't really need it. Although, game seems to want to work it either way, and I think that's honestly probably fine. Although, actually, this is bad for our production, but I really want to get some faith in. Start buying monasteries and things. Because I think we can still afford a workshop. It might be about 1,000. But I think it could be somewhere in the 800 range, perhaps. Let's have a look. So metal casting's done. We're in the medieval era, so we're still well behind the AIs and tech, but the fact that none of them have made it to Renaissance yet really surprises me. It's definitely good news. Attila having a warrior there, now that is odd. He's actually not that far away, and he does love war, but he would have upgraded beyond warrior by now if he was really keen on going for war. He normally is. He's normally like the biggest warmonger you can get. But the fact he hasn't upgraded these suggests that maybe we don't need to worry just yet, and we do have some defense from this, so yeah, I'm not going to worry too much. I'm going to finish off guilds. can't afford this, but I'm gonna do it. Down to 750. And our warriors have been pushed off that tile, so yeah, Edirne really doesn't have much space to expand its borders into. Where are we? Oh, we've nearly circumnavigated the globe, very close now. For some reason, Theodora hasn't expanded over here. I guess there's no food tiles here, but that's very good as well for her religion, settling around there. And these guys we're just going to send over here. And I'm very tempted to buy this tile, but let's see how much it costs to build the workshop. Only 580, that's cheaper than I thought, and since I have done that, I'm getting... well, if I just take over her town, then it doesn't really matter. Shouldn't need to waste that gold, I guess. And that's really sped up the cargo boat production. Plus it means that once we finish off the cargo boat, we can immediately start funneling production into Istanbul. And there we go. Theodora is the first one to enter the Renaissance era. And I think her city immediately went up by about 3 defense there. As yeah, this seems to be all desert, so that's probably why she didn't expand into it. Lots of good production tiles, but very little growth potential there. Okay, so workshop would take 10 turns. Now's the time to do it though, definitely. It's kind of expensive in maintenance too. So if we go for guilds, and then we go for machinery, that's going to be more than 10 turns, so I think it does make sense in this case to go for the workshop. And this guy is just about to finish the plantation, which boosts us up to 5 happiness, so yeah, I think we're good. And then this workboat, I'm going to go over to Edirne. I think it makes sense to build up on the pearls. Doesn't make sense to go for the fish just yet. Just going to put this guy here. Gives us a bit more sight. Artist Guild potentially could be done, but that's very much a peaceful choice. Okay, so there is definitely something going on here. Attila is at least considering declaring on us. I should probably build those walls. And then I think once we get machinery, we want to start moving along this way, get astronomy. In fact, just get compass, and then we can build some galleasses. I don't know if I pronounced that right. A few of the, whatever those things are called, the ranged ships, and we can park those in our towns, and that should make it pretty easy to defend, as she's actually upgraded to her own. We need philosophy too, for the National College, but let's focus on machinery for now. Let's just defend with this guy. And then there's no point doing anything on this desert tile, so let's go over here and build a farm. It seems fairly likely that this guy's going to declare on us. And he's somehow... maybe he swapped around, but it looked like he's somehow just upgraded a warrior into a composite bowman there, but no. I think he's just swapped around, but yeah, he's definitely considering going to war with us, so we can get walls up in 8 turns. I think we're going to have to do that. Or we could just build composite bowman instead. Help us defend. But being this close to machinery, I think it does make sense just to go for walls. And that's going to help us. If we do go to war with her and she sends her galleasses out, then we can attack them with Edirne directly. A new cargo ship. Let's see. So we can send lots of production to Ankara or Istanbul. We don't want to send it to Ankara because if this guy does declare on us, we're just going to get pillaged immediately. If we go to Constantinople, that's +4 science per turn, which is nearly a 10% boost. But I could be tempted just to send production to Ankara, to Istanbul instead. That should be pretty safe. It's just going through this area. Could even send food, but I don't think we want to do that because happiness situation is not amazing. I'm going to go just to Constantinople for now because I think we do want the science boost, and I'm going to investigate exactly how many Punic units there are here, as it's just the 4, so I'm not feeling at all threatened by that so far, but I'll keep an eye on it. Okay, I am pretty happy just to accept gold. We can always get some more pearls if we need them, and you only have 1 gold per turn, but I'm going to take it. So Peaceful Attila is at least considering not being peaceful anymore, and Poland is now threatening to become a bit of a runaway player. I realise I've forgotten to use my spy. Poland is nearly triple our score, not quite there, but very nearly. So I need to be very careful with that. Okay, so a little bit more military there. Is it possible that he's going for Byzantium instead? I really doubt it. But I have no other explanation for why his units are so weak. Just the 4 of them, unless they're all going to meet up with some others somewhere else. Not really sure. Okay, so in Ankara, we are making decent money. I could just buy the workshop. And then I think we do want a granary. That's going to help us with our bananas, a bit of extra food on top of the default. But we might want to market too. Lighthouse I'm kind of avoiding. This guy's going to go to Amsterdam, because I checked earlier, and I think Netherlands is currently in the lead on science. Okay, I want to check this. So I was considering going for exploration, certainly if I wanted to go for a naval dominance victory. And I just want to check, is there anything that actually speeds up building lighthouses? So if we adopt it, we get extra movement, extra sight on our naval units. And this produces extra happiness from the lighthouses, but it looks like... yeah, we do have to build all the lighthouses ourselves, and there's no point delaying. Might as well do that ASAP. Although in this case, it's +1 food from the fish. We're not working any of the other coastal tiles anyway, so Ankara doesn't really benefit that much. So we'd actually benefit more from the marketplace, or the granary. I think we'll go for the granary. I assume that William is going up the kind of opposite end of the tech tree, so we can steal a few of the kind of sailing-based techs from him. So we're kind of focused on the bottom half right now, which is the opposite of what I expected. But if we take something like philosophy, if we research philosophy and drama and poetry pretty soon, we might be able to steal theology off him, or even compass, which I'm almost certain he has. Okay, a bit of extra happiness from finding that. So Attila is still lurking, but I don't really think he's going to declare on us anymore. And should be about 3 or 4 turns until we can build the factory, or buy the factory in Ankara. I think it makes sense to build it, to buy it in the smaller towns first, and then obviously we are producing it in Istanbul anyway, as Poland has now settled next to Byzantium. I'm not sure what to make of that. A potential town we could steal off him, but obviously we already kind of weighed that up, and that's a pretty bad location. It is on a hill, but the fact that he could have put it next to the river and hasn't been able to because that's just too close to Byzantium is a bit of an issue. And so if I did take it over, unless it does grow really well, I'd probably be better off just raising it, I guess. Does give him a bit of a platform to potentially declare on us though in the late game, so have to be a little bit cautious with that. This is a well, no, it's not a great location. If you could steal Mount Kalish, I would think that the AI at least would consider that a good location. I think Poland's mainly just gone here because of the truffles. Okay. If I just ask you for... I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to ask for the 7 gold per turn. And maybe an extra 30 gold on top of that. Nope. There we go. That'll do. Not too worried about happiness right now. We'll be able to build another Colosseum pretty soon in Istanbul if we want to. And we definitely want to get a lighthouse in Istanbul. Now that we've established that navigation's not going to help with that. World's busiest people, so annoyingly Byzantium actually has 14 production. We're not, I mean we are behind, but we're not that far behind considering we're about to get a new workshop and buy another one. Should catch up pretty soon. What I'm really hoping is, well, it's almost certainly not going to happen, but if we could find like an extra fish tile somewhere like this, that would be great, but fair to say it's probably not about to happen. And I probably didn't need the walls in Edirne, but never mind. It's going to help if Byzantium does end up going to war with us. Okay, I think we have just enough. Oh wow, we can actually buy a pagoda. So I think she's enhanced her religion, but I'm kind of surprised she got away with that. I want to check this. It's the only way it makes sense is if she has all 3 religious buildings as part of her religion. I mean, there's no other explanation. Yeah, she's got 3 different religious buildings as part of her religion, so that's a ridiculously powerful religion. So we can immediately buy a pagoda, get an extra +2 culture, faith, and happiness per turn. Definitely want to do that. And then we'll follow it up. Have to wait one more turn, then we can buy an extra workshop, and we're going to have a really good production. Pump out a few more workboats and start working these pearls, and we will actually have really high faith production. So definitely still some incentive to play peaceful, worth bearing in mind. As yeah, this is a bit disappointing, but never mind. Ankara is still reasonably solid for a kind of backup town. I didn't originally want to drop it there. But it's got access to 2 different luxuries, so it's not bad. Not 2 different luxuries, 2 of the same luxury, but still. Doesn't really make a big difference in the end if you can trade it. Okay, let's go ahead and buy the workshop. And we're about to get the workshop in Istanbul as well. So our production is going to go way up. And once we finish machinery, we can actually build the Ironworks too. Depends if we want to go into that or just go straight for crossbows. Golden Age, that's our first, I think. So that's a bit of extra production too. So we should be able to build things pretty quickly here. Maybe a workboat. 3 turns for the workboat and we can drop it on those fish. I think that makes sense. And then probably a cargo ship here. There are a few pretty useful buildings we can get, but not immediately worried about happiness. We're doing okay for happiness now. Watermill's very useful, but also quite expensive in upkeep. And then Granary, we can definitely justify. That's quite a big food boost, and it only takes 4 turns, so we should go for that. And over in this town, we've got our walls. Could get a shrine for a bit of extra faith, but I think realistically we'll go for the workboat instead. And the game now wants us to go for trading posts, but no, I'm going to keep going for farms. And I think this guy is, well, I was going to say I think he's explored about as much as he can, but he can actually keep going on. Okay, so I've lost religion in Ankara, so it's a good thing I built the pagoda nice and early. Hopefully Theodora will be back, and will bring Eastern Orthodoxy with her. That's one of the reasons why I'm a little bit reluctant to kill her. I want to get all 3 of those religious buildings and just really pump them out. Of course, every extra religious building we buy is going to help us. to buy even more later on. It's kind of a, what do you call it, a compound effect, that's the word. And I think it's about time we finally clear this marsh. Okay, so what can we do with this? So we can buy units. And they're not too expensive, but still not worth going for, and we can buy... I mean, if you're given a choice between spending 150 faith on one composite bowman, or 200 faith on a pagoda, it's pretty obvious what you should pick. If we check this, we're actually about to steal a tech in just 2 turns. So, I have a feeling that he's not going to have either physics or steel. So we might end up kind of wasting that. But okay, that's fine. You never know. Casimir's entered the Renaissance era, so he's taking a bit more time than I expected. He does have well over triple R score now, so he's kind of powering away. But that's probably just because he's settling lots of cities. Doesn't necessarily mean that much. We've got machinery, so we can now start pumping out the crossbowmen if we so desire. I think it makes sense to go for the Ironworks. It's only 10 turns. We've got a golden age, so it's going to speed that up a bit. Over here, we've just got the workboat. And I could go for a cargo ship. And I think I will. That's more useful than anything else right now. And then I do want to go for philosophy. We need the National College. But horseback riding is well overdue. We don't have that many tiles with access to fresh water, so civil service is a bit less tempting than it normally would be. Okay, let's drop this. So yeah, Constantinople is still only 24 defense, which is not that strong. So she doesn't have many units. It's certainly something I'm still weighing up. But we have things like the National College, the Ironworks, and a few other things that are still worth building before we go into full military. So let's see here. So if we can steal physics or steel, that'd be great. If we can't, just gonna have to go for drama and poetry. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. Okay, I'm not going to move out just yet though. Yeah, because we're going to get another tech in 6 turns. I think it makes sense to carry on. William might get annoyed at us, but who cares, he's miles away. And we're about to finish off another workboat in Udern. So we can then immediately go on to the Lighthouse. And that's actually going to help with production quite a lot. Eventually it'll be up to +4, so we still got another 3 ships to drop, but once we do... So at first, let's go for the Lighthouse, and then follow it up with a couple more workboats. And that's going to be a lot of extra food and production, so 100% worth doing. Okay. I'm going to ask for the wine instead. Kind of surprised he didn't offer that. He's got spare. Oh no, that's really bad. That would have been part of our capital. Big growth tile too. Yeah, that's really annoying. I might have to buy another one. How much is that going to cost? Just 85, that's not too bad. It's going to annoy him, but frankly, who cares? If he does attack us, we could be in some trouble, but I think we can handle it. Yeah, so I can't get rationalism, so if I did want to go for a science victory, it's not like I'm making a bad choice right now. It makes perfect sense to go for exploration. And then maritime infrastructure is really strong. Naval tradition, also very strong, lots of extra happiness. Yeah, I think this makes sense. And then we're going to steal another tech in 4 turns, so can't get theology. We're going to have to steal theology, I think. Don't really have a choice. So in that case, let's just go for horseback riding. And let's build another farm. Yeah, he's just sending settlers everywhere, so that might be the reason his score's going up. This is worth seeing though. Got to bear in mind this is the leading player on the map. He's got warriors, which suggests he's not going full warmonger. But he does have a big force. He's got pikemen. Yeah, he's got a big force here. They are kind of trending towards my direction. Which could be pretty scary, but mostly just triremes. Nothing that scary, actually. He could probably take my town if I don't get a little bit more defense. But if we keep a close eye on him, I think we'll be okay. Let's just wait. 3 turns left of our golden age. Let's see, so we got a cargo ship coming up very soon in Ankara. And then I think we do want more trade slots, definitely. Cargo ship's pretty much one of the most powerful things you can get on this type of map. Make a massive difference. So it looks like Eastern Orthodoxy has come back to Ankara, so that's good. But I'm going to build pagodas in the other 2 towns first. Can't turn that up. Or turn that down. Okay, horseback riding's done. So we could steal civil service instead of theology. Theology is mostly just wonders, but you can also get the Grand Temple if you want. Civil service probably more immediately useful. Plus, helps us defend if this guy does come for us, but I think these are just defensive, so don't actually need to worry yet. Okay. I don't care about physics or steel, so I need to pick one and steal the other. I think I'll steal civil service, pick theology. Civil service is more useful to get sooner for the extra food. And so this guy is actually trading with us, so that's good. He's probably not intending to go to war with us. So let's see, who can we get science off? So Poland is actually behind Byzantium when it comes to science. +5 science isn't that good. But it comes with extra gold as well, so for now I'm going to keep going that way, but pretty soon I think we will be able to justify focusing a bit more on internal trade. So I think Machu Picchu is one of those wonders that you can get reasonably reliably, but I was never going to get it, of course, because I'm not anywhere near a mountain. And interesting that Attila has now gone to war with France, as I thought he might. The Hague has been dropped here. City is blockaded. I think Paris should be okay. It's a pretty crappy city, but I think it should be okay. If that does fall to the Huns, that's a little bit concerning. So I do want the National College, but definitely should get that in the capital instead. Otherwise, Lighthouse might make sense at this point. Shrine is only 2 turns. Crossbowmen only 7 turns. I'm going to go for crossbowmen. Yeah, I mean, this is just a terrible location for a city. And I don't think we're going to be able to sustain our trade with him. I'm pretty sure he asked for the pearls, and that's how we're getting wine off him. So once he drops a fishing ship here, which I don't think he has yet, no he's not. Once he drops a fishing ship here, he's not going to ask for our pearls anymore, so at least 4 of this happiness is on borrowed time. But yeah, this is an absolutely awful location for a city, but he's going to get away with it because he's the AI. That's how it is. So probably still want to go for Constantinople, but can produce archers pretty quickly by feeding 8 production per turn to Eden. Depends if we want to go for war. We're getting close to the point where we can. So if we do send that to Eden, is it at risk of being pillaged? A little bit. But not that badly. But I think I will. Or I can send it to Istanbul instead. But Istanbul's going to have not a really hard time, but a slightly hard time feeding units into Eden. So I'm going to do it like this instead. And that is the end of our golden age, so the production is going to slow down a little bit. I think I will have a look though, see if our situation has improved a bit when it comes to production. I think we were kind of mid-ranked before. Can't remember how I check. Okay, so Constantinople has now taken the coveted hill tile that I wanted for Eden. Okay, I can take civil service or theology. As I said, I'm going to take civil service. And this guy will work on the floodplains. Okay, so she does have at least 1 unit of pikemen. Okay. Gonna have to keep exploring with this because we're starting to get a little bit trapped. Still growing pretty nicely. I think I will get another workboat before I go full crossbowman in Eden. Makes sense for the extra faith. So yeah, workboat is going to take just 2 turns. Definitely worth doing. And I'll probably save my gold to potentially upgrade my composite bowman. And I think the next tech we're going to work towards, that's another tile we could have worked, but it's just a desert tile, so I'm not that bothered. I think if we didn't buy that tile, we would have just lost it to Poland. Okay, she's actually got musketmen now. Yeah, that's the problem. I could go for physics. I could even go for janissaries. I didn't think I'd use them, but I think they're a bit too far away, really. I think I'd like compass. Let's see how long it will take us to steal that. Just 5 turns, and then we can start producing Galeuses as well. At least we're not the bottom ranked player, for what it's worth. And we are no longer less than a third of Casimir's score. Okay, he's plotting against me. All the more reason to start building a bit of military. This will probably get pillaged as soon as I build it, but screw it. Ironworks is nearly done, and I think we'll go for the National College. I should maybe go fully into crossbowmen at this point. But obviously National College is very important, so I think I should still get that. Yeah, 7 turns. It's definitely more useful than a single unit of crossbowmen. And then I would kind of like to steal education instead of compass. Yeah, I think that does make sense. I'm sure William has it, so I think we'll go for that. ultimately it's the more costly tech, so it saves us a couple of turns of science. We'll just ask for the usual 7 gold, although actually this guy is our friend, so let's try 30 plus 7. Nope. Okay, let's try this instead. Fine. So when it comes to attack in Constantinople, we definitely want to just park ourselves on these hills. And after that, it kind of depends what unit she has. I could scout her. We just swap open borders. I don't have an embassy. I think I can pay her for now. I want to see how doable this is. Oh crap. Oh no. Okay, so composite bow. I think she could upgrade to crossbowman if she wants to, though. But if that's pretty much the only defense she has, she got 3 different units of galleass, 1 unit of pikemen. I will have the warmonger penalty as well, that's the other risk. Bit of extra happiness is always nice. Let's have a look. Okay, so she's got knights, more composite bowmen. She's still not that strong. Could be done, just not massively easily. Okay, so we're getting silver off her. We're getting wine off, I think, Poland. So we are going to lose 4 happiness. Could go for trebuchets, just to take down Constantinople that little bit sooner. But I'm not sure we need to. Let's keep looking. Yeah, she does have quite a bit, including her own trebuchets. So it would be a pretty serious war. I think I do have to stop and think here. Is this really worth doing? Like, could we keep up on science instead? So we've just taken compass, and hopefully we can immediately jump. Well, chivalry is an option as well. He does have chivalry. He does have physics too. So if I do want to go the war way, I can get trebs. And those are going to be very handy. But not that handy. Like, a little bit handy. But it's not completely necessary. I am going to go for it. And perhaps I can push for Janissaries. Let's keep exploring. So she does have a fair few units. But still, clearly a peaceful faction. I'm certainly, now that we've stolen physics, I'm certainly a little bit more tempted to go for Janissaries. They are really strong. They're not any stronger than musketmen, but the fact they can heal just by killing an opponent is pretty significant. And then it's going to take 10 turns. I think after the 10 turns we will steal education. I could steal chivalry. I don't think we need to. That takes us to banking and to printing press, neither of which are that important. Economics is not really needed that badly. So if I go for stables, that's going to be an extra 3 production from the cattle. Which is okay, it takes us from 23 to 26 production, but obviously I think Gallius is 17 range strength, crossbow is 18 range strength, but the Gallius we can more easily hide in our town to protect it. Plus, this is of course one thing that we can absolutely do is this sieve. We have to pay almost no upkeep on it. We're going to be paying a third of the usual upkeep. So that's quite a big deal. We can actually get another cargo ship, but I think we'll do that somewhere else. We could probably do it in Ankara, or even Istanbul. Could go for another Gallius. Do we have the Lighthouse here? That's another question. I don't think we do, but we don't benefit that much. It's going to give us +1 food, +1 production, and that's it. Maybe +2 food, +1 production. So it's not bad, but we have to pay maintenance on it, so either Gallius or Crossbowman, I think. Thinking about it, we can easily move the Galliuses from Ankara to Eden, whereas moving Crossbowmen is going to be a little bit more of a headache. So instead of building these, since I haven't started yet, let's go for Crossbowmen, or even a Treb. But before we go for the Trebs, we have to actually clean out the units. To be honest, we don't really need Trebs. They are helpful if you're up against something really heavily defended and want to take it down really quickly. But in this case, the big threat here is not really the town. The town is going to be scary, but the big threat is going to be the musketmen. And to a lesser extent the other units. Okay, so Poland appears to be... yeah. I was about to say, he appears to be gathering on my border. He's got a couple of triremes there. It looks like he might go for the attack. So that's going to be a pretty big distraction. And yeah, he's gone for it. Okay, that kind of changes things. City-states declare war on me, not Sydney fortunately, so I think that's okay, but he's going to destroy our boats. And so far it's just the triremes, but there we go, okay, so massive force has now appeared. Istanbul is in serious trouble. I might have to see if I can get help from Byzantium, but she probably won't be willing to take it. This is actually kind of bad, because Istanbul is weak. Gonna have to buy walls. Buy walls, and nothing else of this is going to help us that much. Crossbowman 460, so that's about 2 turns away. Crap, that's kind of scary. If I upgrade these, it's 100 gold. Am I better off just attacking, perhaps? These two can bombard me. I can clean out one of the triremes. This could be really bad. He's just got a few too many units here. He can bombard me with 3 different units next turn and then immediately attack me with 3 different triremes as well. Unless I take one out, which I can. These guys are pretty screwed. I'm sure she won't agree to this, but pretty desperate situation, so no way to make this work. 67 gold per turn, are you sure? Yeah. Okay, so she's the weaker player, so she doesn't want to go for it, unsurprisingly. National College nearly done. Gallius on its way. How much do those cost? $400, so a little bit cheaper. We can buy one next turn if we survive. Okay, fingers crossed. We're going to take a hammering. I'm hoping the walls are going to just about keep us in this. Plundered one of their cargo ships, that's good. They're going to plunder ours though. Okay, they're not doing as much damage as I feared. And he's going to shift a few more units up here too. So we're not done yet, he's going to appear with a few more, I think. Yeah, so that thing's just pulled up. That's going to attack us. Still, it could be worse. Let's see. So that's not going to do as much as I hoped. I'm not seeing how he's going to take this town next turn, at least. So, okay, wow, so this scout trireme has actually managed to get us 200 gold. That's really unexpected and nice. But unfortunately, we're actually being chased across the map now by Poland's triremes. I'll see how far away I can get, but it's looking kind of bad. So Gallius we can produce in 3 turns. That's got to do for now. And then we can buy a crossbowman instead of Gallius, which is probably going to make sense, I think. Let's see about this. So if this guy moves to here, hits these, that's going to do a really nice amount. And then these guys, I don't think that the catapult is going to come and attack us, but we'll move to safety. You guys can't do anything. Town can do quite a lot of damage. Let's try and save that for now. Let's move this out and take this out, and then this can finish it off. And then I do want to take out the trireme just to be safe. But I don't actually have anything to do that with, apart from the town, which should probably attack one of the galliuses instead. Yeah, this is a little bit wasteful. This is complete overkill. But nothing else he currently has here can actually take our town. I don't think the pikemen can take it from the sea. I'm not 100% confident. I'm just going to get rid of those. I'm going to buy a crossbowman. And I really hope it's not too late. Could lose some of our cargo ships here. Let's see, so hopefully that Assyrian trireme is going to block off a few reinforcements. I'm not sure, but we can hope so. They're going to go for that. They do a chunk of damage, but yeah, the pikemen are not going to be able to take us from this high HP, from the sea especially, so yeah, they don't do too much damage. It's actually settled another town right there, which makes very little sense. Okay, so we did end up going to war, but not in the way I thought, and not in the way I would like. Trader has been plundered as well, that sucks. Gonna need to really clear out the things that can actually attack us, as yeah, they are chasing us down. I'm just gonna keep running. If I can find trader routes to plunder, that'd be great, but it seems pretty unlikely. Let's see. The good thing about this is if we do survive, and we do keep our military alive, then we can use that for something else, i.e. attacking Byzantium. But yeah, it's definitely dangerous. Let's finish that off. For now, that's the only thing that can actually take our town. If I move there, I can get attacked by that town, so I'm going to move here instead. And then move this here. Oh crap, I thought I had more movement than that. Damn, okay, so don't get to use those this turn, that sucks. 206 in the bank, that's not enough to buy anything useful. But I can bring these over. And next turn they can shoot this galleass. I'm going to bring this over too. I don't think we need it, but it's going to be some time till we can actually move our units towards Byzantium anyway, so I think it makes sense to do that. The big question is he going to show up with more triremes? Because that's the real concern. He's got to have more coming than just this. This is not much. Okay, there we go. He's got a caravel. Need to focus that down. That's quite dangerous, actually. We need to finish it off this turn. Let's see, how much can we do? Not enough. Crap. We might lose Istanbul. Unless... Unless I sacrifice anything up to 3 units just to hold them off one more turn. As a distraction, I'm going to do this. And you guys are going to jump on here. You guys are going to have to go here. And then these guys can't actually reach, so we've got to go across here instead and fire. You've got to go for the caravel. You guys got to put yourselves in harm's way, because that's the only thing we can do. Okay, so this is going to be really dangerous, because if the AI knows what it's doing, it can just knock out one of our units and then immediately go for our town with the caravel. I'm going to ask you for 2 now. Let's try 3 actually. Yeah, 2's the only thing that's going to work. Let's see. Still going for the town. That's good. Because he can't reach it. And he's moved the caravel all the way over there. Hang on a minute. This guy loves war. No way to make it work. Okay, so obviously Poland's the strongest player. No one wants to go to war with him. Still, I see nothing wrong with just taking a bit of gold off this guy. Okay, so we survive another turn. A little bit of an unorthodox approach to doing it, but gotta do whatever it takes. At least we got our galleass now, so that's a bit of extra defense. And this might be the end of the road for our trireme, unfortunately. There's nowhere else it can go unless we pay this guy for open borders. How much do we care about rescuing this? Not that much, probably. I think we'll go for another galleass. Crossbowman's one extra turn. And we should have another one popping up over in Edern pretty soon. And this composite bowman, very lucky to be alive. So if we were to attack Byzantium, then crossbowman's probably going to be more useful than galleass. But galleass can still help. We can still fire on pretty much anything we like. And it comes quicker, so I'm going to go for it. And then we can clean this out. Hit this thing too. Bring these to safety, at least from the caravel, and then take this a step here, shoot at the caravel, jump back onto land. Still not sure about this, could rescue this. But buying open borders off Assyria is probably not massively worth it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. When Edern is done, we can get another galleass, or we can get crossbowmen. I might go for galleass because he has got 2 towns here, and the only way we can really attack those is to surround them with naval units. If I go for a cargo ship, I could do an internal trade route with Ankara, and seems pretty unlikely that Poland would go for that, but that's still a little bit risky. Galleass, on the other hand, is almost certainly going to be helpful. And then this guy's going to stay put, he's going to help block Istanbul. Didn't realise I can actually upgrade to crossbowman while in the sea. Don't think we'll be doing that. Very much at risk here. Okay, so gunpowder's coming in 10 turns, then we can get janissaries. And so I think it's okay that we're kind of falling further and further behind Theodora for now. He's still going for the town, which is just the AI being stupid. They don't gain anything from that. Workers actually survive. No, they don't. Okay, so we lost the worker, but that's okay. That works as a distraction. They just healed up, though. But yeah, I think we have just about saved Istanbul. So we're definitely not going to be going peaceful, at least not for a little while. That's one thing we can say. Warrior to swordsman, we need iron. That's kind of annoying, because presumably the warrior will eventually upgrade into the janissary, and that would not be bad. I wonder if we can find someone to trade with. Someone with a bit of spare iron. Okay, there's something I can look at which tells me what people have spare. I'm going to try someone like Boudica. Just a stab in the dark. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, so someone might have iron. I'm pretty tempted to start upgrading the warrior, so we can potentially get him to janissary. We've got 2 of those, so that would help. And then this crossbowman I can send back to help reinforce Istanbul. Can also help a little bit by attacking this town to the north. And that's got 25 defense, so it's kind of useful as a bit of a case study of what it would be like to take down Constantinople once all the units are dead. Can get hit by the caravel though, and the caravel is probably going to go for one of these 3 units. And we can nearly afford another galleass. Let's see. So these things, can we actually find out exactly how much movement they have? I'm not sure if there's a way to do that. At least not an obvious way. So if I were to jump down here, that's going to take 2 turns, and I'm pretty sure this location can be hit by the caravel. Does it really matter though, because he could just go for one of these 3 instead. I'm going to risk it. Attila as well, okay. He wants peace, but he wants us to give everything we have. But that's good, it at least shows that he's more or less given up. If I just go straight for peace with him, I'm guessing he'll say no, but he's going to keep moving in the direction of wanting peace. Oh, he actually does, okay, so now he's friendly again, but we know he's deceitful. And this caravel is currently trapped in our lands, but that's interesting because we now have a choice about what we can do next. I do want to take both of these towns out, they're both kind of annoying me, but that doesn't actually help us win the game much, so maybe not. And we've at least had a bit of a wake-up call. I assumed Istanbul was safe, but it was never quite as safe as I thought. And now we know that, so we need to make sure we keep that nice and healthy and nice and ready to defend itself, no matter what happens elsewhere. I hope I couldn't have pillaged these the whole time, because that would have been quite easy. Could have just bought a trireme. But okay. I think we can get a cargo ship back now. Or could just go into crossbowmen instead. Not really sure. Don't think we need that many galleasses. We've got a pretty solid military here, so we're kind of reaching the point where we can think a little bit about making a push on someone. But we can also take a closer look at the scores, because we're up to 352, which is, I mean, at least it's more than a third of what Casimir has, and I don't think Casimir is focusing that much on science. If we have a look, I'm trying to remember exactly which one it is, I think demographics. So I'm hoping our production is okay, we're 4th for that. And then science, we're still in last, but the leader is Poland, and Poland is only 6% ahead of us, which is only a few techs. So we could still go peaceful. We still have options. We've managed to survive another day, and that's the main thing. But I think we are now at a turning point, and that is a good place to end the part. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, you can check the playlist link in the description if you'd like to watch the next part once I've got around to uploading it. Otherwise, thanks, and I'll see you next time.